and welcome to Synchronous Online Teaching Strategies. This is strategies for any subject area. My name is Teresa Wells. I'm an assistant professor at George Mason University, and I've been teaching online for a decade now. Specifically, I look at how we have online learning that is collaborative, interactive, and gives students voice, and voice in a variety of ways. I hope today to share some of the tips that I've learned over the last 10 years as you all are implementing your synchronous online learning. In order to fully interact today, you're going to need access to the Google Slides. I'm going to post that link in the chat box. I see that about 30 of you all are in there, so almost our whole group is in, but in case you don't have that, there's the link. And on slide 1, you'll find multiple ways to stay in touch, from my email address, website, Twitter handle, and YouTube channel. And if you come on down to slide 2, these are some important links for you all. First of all, the templates. If you want to bookmark that, it'll take you to where I already have many pre-made templates available to you. You just download them and put them directly into your slides. They're ready to go. But there's also the option to edit. So if you really like one of them, but you want to edit it for your content, your specific purposes, you have editing rights as well. The second link is where I have all of the PD recordings. So this session is the 5th one in the series. You can watch the recording. You can also get a copy of the fresh, clean, blank slide deck, along with many others. And on slide 3, this is the program that I'm in at Mason, the Math Specialist program, where we developed all of these routines. So if you are interested in being a K-8 Math Specialist, come and check us out. And I've been talking long enough. Let's get you all interacting. Come on down to slide 4. And there's also room on slide 5 and 6, since we have so many folks here. You're going to use a text box to tell us about a success or celebration happening for you all right now. I've got an image of what the text box looks like on slide 4, but you need to actually go way up here and grab your own text box from the toolbar. So be sure to grab a text box and put it on there. And you don't have to respond with text. You might choose an image, an animated GIF. You might respond to other people's with hearts and other things. You're welcome to do that. And I can see that somebody wrote on here that they've created a Bitmoji classroom. And I know for many of us, it's very therapeutic to make that Bitmoji classroom. It kind of, takes the place of that amazing bulletin board that we may have, wanted to create. And so whoever wrote that, what was special about making your Bitmoji classroom?
So I actually got advice from a friend, a fellow teacher, who said that it was a good way to engage the students so that I can then link Google Slides into some of the elements in the classroom and keep them engaged.
Wonderful. Anytime we have a nice landing page like that, it's great for our students so that they don't need to know where to click. They can just see it. Dana, how was the adoption? What a cutie. Everyone else, Dana posted a picture on slide 5. Can you turn on your mic and tell us a little bit about it?
Hi. Yeah, so I adopted Murphy last Friday, and it's going really well. I feel like we're a great match. He's sitting next to me now, very calm. So I'm very happy.
Aw, so nice. Somebody's doing some That's so sweet. Someone's doing some interior painting. Who is that? And how's it going?
That is me. This is Angie, and we have a neighbor who's a professional painter but not working much now, and we have the time right now. And so it's wonderful. It's like having a brand new house without having a brand new house.
Oh, very cool. I'm betting you're loving all the fresh, clean walls too. There's nothing like that freshly painted feeling.
Loving the walls, not loving the smell, but that will go away soon.
Yeah. Who is the gardener who picked over 200 tomatoes? How's that going?
Hi, I'm Kirsty, and my son and I work at a community garden in Manassas, Virginia, and we hadn't been there in about a week, and we have way too many squash and tomatoes, and we were able to drop them off at Georgetown South to give them away.
Oh, what a wonderful experience for you all to be doing. And Kirsty, it's nice to see you back. All right, folks. This is Successes and Celebrations. It's, in my opinion, the most important way of interacting with students. This gives every student a voice, not just a student who was quick to turn on their microphone or quick to raise their hand, not just the student who can type well, because you can also add images, and not just the student who's the loudest. Every single student is able to have a voice here. And sometimes I'll use different norms on how I select to, ask a student to share out loud. So if you would explore what it's like to change the border of your text box. If you see my screen, I'll show you how to do that. But if you change the border color to a different color, sometimes I'll say, anyone with a blue border you want to be called on, and anyone with, let's say a yellow border, you just want to put it up there with text, but please don't call on me for this one. And that gives students a little bit more, way of loving the microphone and getting a chance to share out loud. So you can do those. Alrighty, join me on slide 7. Our norms for success today. This is highly interactive, so make sure you put away all distractions so you can interact fully. We are recording. Reduce or eliminate any background noise. Questions are important. It's where we show evidence of our learning. I'm going to ask you all to type your questions on the very last slide. That's our virtual parking lot. And that way it'll allow me the opportunity to get to questions that I have anticipated during the session, and anything else that wasn't asked I can address at the end. When you're in small groups, which will happen a lot today, please turn on your mics and say hello right away. That way we can build a little community here. Your words matter as educators. Let's make sure we're using positive asset language when describing children. And mistakes happen. If you delete something, move something, no worries, just hit undo or Control Z. And please don't drive while collaborating. All right, folks, let's see who's here today. I'm going to do a little attendance. On slide 8 or 9, you can pick your slide. Type your name in the yellow box, and then move it out of the red zone. How do you feel about this digital learning stuff? Is it new to you? Are you experienced? So the little text boxes are already there. You just type your name in one and move it down. There's lots more room on slide 9. I like to use this for attendance and to get a quick feedback from my students on how they feel about distance learning. But we use continuums and lots of content areas. So how could you all use this template in your teaching? Go ahead and you can use your microphone to share out. You can share out in the chat box. But how could you use this in math, science, social studies, language arts, art, music?
I could see taking the barometer, like using it as a barometer of their comfortability and maybe what we just learned in a lesson.
Absolutely. So advocating for how we feel about something. What else?
It's a great social emotional check-in, especially if you already had their names logged in for younger kids that struggle to type, find your name and drag it.
Absolutely. So you can drag your name down for social emotional. How about content specific?
I'm thinking
I
of,
see it as a great use to do ordering numbers or ordering fractions on a number line and have students move the numbers to different parts.
Very cool.
or if you had a choice of different activities, maybe having kids vote by, if you could have quadrants and kids could move their name into which type of activity they would like to do at the moment.
So a student voice for making rooms. Wonderful.
I often use thumbs up, thumbs down at their chest or thumbs sideways on how they feel about the things that we're learning. So you could even do it as like, how are you feeling about your knowledge and you're ready to move on?
Indeed. Darrow, go ahead.
Good morning. I just had a crazy question. I don't know if there would be a template of like a manuscript and kids could put their names in notes and arrange them, but that's probably a little far-fetched, but that just came to my mind.
That is definitely spurring ideas for me. I'm already thinking of different ways to do that. Cool. Heike?
Hi, I teach English for speakers of other languages, and I could have students move nouns to the bottom or adjectives, or maybe even have say, ask them to use an adjective to describe themselves, and then maybe put it underneath the line if it's negative and above the line if it's positive.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, so we use continuums in all of our content areas. I've heard of other teachers talking about in social studies historical figures. So you might have historical figures on the top like George Washington. However, a current event down low. Should we wear masks out in public? And so students would have to take these historical figures, move them down on different current political issues with historical characters and have to defend their reasoning of why they selected that. And I've also heard in language arts having antagonist and protagonist and all the characters of the novel up top and move them down. How is the author portraying that character? We'll take one more. Jill, go ahead.
I was just going to say I teach social studies, and I thought you could use this as a continuum for like whether you were a loyalist or a patriot, and then have to explain your position.
Very cool. So whenever you are sorting things on some kind of a continuum, you can use this. The kids can interact right away. The template's ready to go, and they're just moving it on down. Lovely. All right, so now we've taken attendance for a purposeful reason. The students move their names down, and we're ready to move into breakout groups. Join me on slide 10. And on slide 10, I've got, this is my lesson plan. I don't make typical lesson plans anymore. I make slides with my plans on it, so it's transparent to other students. I let them know what type of groups they're going to be in, about how long, and a list of directions that we go over together, but they can also reference. So in this activity, you're going to find your group number. Those of you who are familiar with this tool, please help out your groups, and I'll be around to also check in with you all. Once you know your group number, you can head down to your slide. So group 1 will be on slide 11. You can see that it says at the top there, group 1. Group 2 will be on slide 12, so on and so forth. Wendy, I'll put the link in just a second. Make sure you turn on your microphone, say hello, and do some introductions and complete your slide. Your slide asks 3 questions. How are your situations different? How are your needs similar? And the third one is using clip art in order to tell us how you want your classroom pedagogy to look online. So that's your task. We've got about 10 minutes. I will be in breakout rooms to check in on you. If you're not familiar with Collaborate, no worries. You'll have someone in there who is, or you can wait till I pop in and let you know. Let's see, let's do 9 groups. You're automatically going to pop in there. So turn on your microphones, get ready to say hello. Breakout rooms start now.
Okay, so it looks like we're group 1.
Uh-huh.
And fifth math in Lexington, Kentucky.
Hi folks, just a heads up, you're group 2.
So on slide 1, since we're the main group, or no, we're group 3, sorry.
Hi,
Okay.
yep, you guys are group 3.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like there's somebody named Dane.
Sort of looking at some tools and ways to support teachers in the virtual learning that we'll be doing in the fall.
I think I'm missing one more person in our room and our slide deck. So maybe.
So I see someone else already started typing group names. Is that you, Barb?
I just typed my name in.
All right,
I teach high school.
So I was struggling to get on the slideshow. So what are we supposed to be doing right now in the breakout group?
So it says there's like 3 sections, and it says how are your situations different, how are your needs similar, and then the third column is insert clip art images that best depicts the classroom that you want to continue in your online instruction.
You mean when it says how are your situations different, does it mean like now that we're virtual compared to when we were in person?
I take it to mean that after we introduce ourselves, and I'm sorry, this is Jeanette. You guys may have introduced yourselves before I got pushed into the room. But I think after we introduce ourselves, it's seeing how are our situations different and similar.
Oh, okay. I just couldn't understand.
Hi group. You can really use this slide in any way you want. I want teachers to see how students can collaborate over voice and have a recording space to put their ideas down. So that's really the heart of this activity. You all can use your teacher brains and really do it however you like.
Okay. So this is Molly. I'm a 2nd grade teacher in Reston.
So do we want to assign somebody to type, or should we type our own as we go? How would you like to do that?
It'd be easier just to have one person to type.
One person? Who would like to do that?
I don't mind being the typer. I can be.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Is that Becca then, right? Is that Becca?
No.
Or, I'm sorry. I didn't see.
That's okay.
Nicole offered, but
me to accomplish, so that is why I'm here, trying to learn as many tools as possible to teach when we go back, when we start school in a few weeks, and eventually we're going to go back in the classroom. So I would like to use as many tools and as many strategies as possible to engage and motivate my students.
I see the name Kathleen here on our slide. As I'm looking on the breakout group listings, I just see Carrie, Jackie, Megan, and Melissa. Kathleen, are you there?
I think she was when I first looked at the list, so I don't know if she got cut out or not.
Okay, no worries. I was just trying to make it match up and make sure we didn't miss anybody.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to figure out how to do the mic. I don't even know how to, I don't know what I'm doing.
Linda, are you there? Nova, are you there?
Yes, I'm Nova. I introduced myself. I teach 4th and 5th grade math in Kentucky.
Oops, sorry, so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm here, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm Linda Cherubino, and I'm a reading specialist in Massachusetts.
Oh, how nice.
I have a friend in Arizona, and each class is an hour, and they only have to teach for 30 minutes of the hour, and then the other 30 minutes they have to be present. But so
ways without being constant tech support for our kids to engage interactively.
Mm-hmm. That will be huge. Do you plan to use sort of the Google Slides format that we're using now with second graders?
We'll probably use a lot more Pear Deck. To be honest, our school has the advanced license for Pear Deck, and it makes interacting a little bit more directed, and it gives you really clearly who's done what as a educator. So we're looking to use a lot of Pear Deck interaction. I was actually just spending some time with Teresa before. I've luckily known Teresa for many, many years, about how to manage the little kids interacting with math games, because it's so
We still like thinking about or worrying about or knowing that we're going to have to do, even though we're all virtual.
This is Wendy again, and I
Hi there, group. You all are doing a wonderful job. Lots of ideas being shared. If you would also try to insert an image in that last column, if everyone wants to give it a try, it's a nice way to incorporate more words. They say an image is worth 1,000 words. So you have that opportunity also.
Like that. Because we did it for assignments, but I didn't use them during my morning meetings.
Hi there, group. Oh, lovely picture. I was just coming in and making sure everyone was feeling comfortable inserting pictures.
I just wanted to, I did this for the group, but I think that we all would feel like, because we just said about the collaborating on the slides, like still allowing that collaboration work to happen. I love that idea.
Coming into the school year this way.
That's great. That's great. Picture.
And I want good resources online because I feel like there's a lot out there, but it's hard to vet what's good and, going to work with the kids.
Hi there, group. We have just a couple minutes left here, so if you want to practice bringing images in to that third column, you all can work together with that. How would you like your classroom to continue looking, even though you might be moving distant?
Okay.
If you are watching this recording, one thing I like to do when I'm about to pull the group together is I like to move myself in the main room for a moment of zen and quiet where I'm maybe making notes about which students might be presenting or just to get some more clarity. So I'm here in the main room. I'm making sure my microphone is on and ready so that when I stop the breakout rooms, I can mute everyone right away and let them know that they've come back to the main room.
Exactly what I'd like to do. So how do you say?
Welcome back to the main room, everyone. We are all back together now. Welcome back. And I've muted your microphones for two reasons I'd like to be transparent about. One, as a show of respect that I'm a guest in your home and the background noise you have might not be something you wanted to share with the entire group. And also just so that we don't talk on top of each other. Alrighty. In this activity, the purpose, the pedagogical move that I made here is I wanted my students to be able to talk with one another. So I gave them a question that they could only answer through collaboration. How are your situations similar and different? I also wanted to kind of do a pre-assessment on, hey, do we know how to bring images in? And these images give us, so many more ways of thinking about what you are thinking of in your classroom. For the next part, I want you to be able to see what other people have written. And I don't know about you, but I find it kind of challenging sometimes to have my students look at what other people have done or maybe what other people have said in a conversation and really listen. Like they're so eager to put their own information out, but we want them to listen and see what other people have written. So in this next activity, it is designed to do just that. Join me on slide 20 for our directions. You're going to be in a new group, and so you'll need to see where your group number is, say hello to everyone, and as a group, you're going to look at those completed slides, slide 11 through 19. And then you're going to do something called a steal and edit. So in this case, we're going to steal other things from those rainbow slides above, and then we're going to have an opportunity to edit those. And we're going to redefine the word steal here to mean, wow, that was so cool. You've changed my perspective. I'm going to use that. You'll see that there's group slides below. Group 1 is on slide 21. Group 2 is on slide 22, and so on. And you're going to fill in this graphic organizer using as much stolen material as possible. So it says in a perfect world, online instruction would allow students to. It would look like, sound like, feel like. In order to complete this, move up to those rainbow slides, see what other people wrote in words, see what other people pasted as images, and grab things that you like. But if you don't say anything you like, you're allowed to edit your slide. You can add whatever you like to it. And that's how you do a steal and edit. I'm going to create those breakout rooms now. Again, you're automatically going to be placed in a breakout room, so turn on your microphone, say hello, find your slide, and enjoy the steal and edit.
Okay, so I think we're doing slide 21.
Yeah.
Would that be slide 22?
Yes. It says it in the bottom comments.
Falls Church.
Yes. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, just checking, making sure you all know your group 3.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, we got it.
So,
Hi, folks, just checking in, letting you know your group 4.
Great.
thank you.
So does anybody know, like, are we supposed to copy and paste them here? I can't imagine that she would want us to, like, take them from those slides. Anybody know?
Hi,
I think
folks.
it's
Yeah, if
supposed
you
to
can just
copy them.
copy and paste them, that would be perfect. And you're group 5.
Thank you.
Well, we could all look at slide 11 and then say, anything in there grab everybody?
Perfect. Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, so
Are we just taking the images? Okay.
Or
Right. Okay.
And then once they're done presenting, you could take that privilege away from them.
Okay.
Hi, folks.
Okay,
Just
so
wanted
I
to make
think,
sure you knew you were group 8.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm thinking, I just stole a picture from another, was that in a perfect world, online instruction would allow students to be talking in small groups would be something I would think would be important.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that was the picture I was going for too. Excellent. Excellent.
All right, I'm copying this on slide 11. There's a thing that says safe place, which I think is a cool concept to think about. So I'll put that in, it would feel like.
And I'm just copying one with like all the hands are around a heart. Maybe that what it would look like.
Yes. And then, let's see. Online instruction would allow students to, let's say, instead of saying make sure kids are successful, feel successful.
If you are watching this online, you might notice that I have been going in and creating copies of things periodically. There's a couple reasons why I do that. One, as a teacher, sometimes I like to see the way that the slides have changed over time. So in doing so, I can scroll down and see it that this time this is how they looked. If I go back a little bit more, these slides that they're on right now were blank, but they were still working on their rainbow colored slides. And my norm that I use is I put the time at the very end so that I could see about what time certain things looked like, however they were. I find this easier than going into the version history, although that's a totally doable way of looking back. But I like this, it's a nice visual for me. And then if students accidentally delete something and they can't figure out how to bring it back, I'm able just to copy and paste that back in. So it's a little tip of an easier thing that I like to do. But there's lots of ways of seeing the versions.
at the beginning of how to insert a text box with that arrow that she moved around. I thought that was a great supportive way to share with our students, like how do you interact with these slides. So definitely need to take time to do that.
Ooh.
Does anyone else notice that when you guys are interacting with the slide, it has like anonymous and then an animal?
Yes, your name's not tied to it. That's like everybody is given their, like we're not signed in here that way. So in something that you may have shared with other people, it would have their names on it. But like when you're doing it with your teammates that you may be at your school, their names would be there. Right?
So if you go back and forth, so how would you, how do you copy something, how do you take something from one, let's say I'm on slide 14 and they've got something, I want to put it on ours. So how do you do that?
Control copy.
Okay.
Control C.
Okay.
And then minimize the interactive slides. I mean, oh my gosh, control,
yeah.
geez.
Yeah, no,
sorry,
I
never
think
mind.
maybe I got it. It's okay. I think maybe yes. Okay, I think I did it. Okay. Okay, I did it. Thank you. Oh, you got the same one. Sorry. Oh, well, maybe I should get rid of that one. But I know at least I did it. Okay.
And we're on 23, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the main room. We are all back together now. And again, I've muted your microphones as a sign of respect and also so that we don't all talk on top of each other. Occasionally, it doesn't let me mute everyone. I don't really know why. But Dara, Heike, and Katie, yours are still on if you don't want your background noise projected. All right, so you all just interacted in a steal and edit routine. You probably also noticed that this routine allows students to continue to look at other people's slides as they're developing, which is kind of nice, so that if you do have some early finishers, it's not really ever quite done. You can keep adding to it, which will help you out with classroom management. If you join me on slide 29, I'm going to show you the third way of incorporating these same slides. So slide 29 is an interactive gallery walk. And this is very similar to a gallery walk you may have done in your classroom where students are walking around and seeing things on desks or posters on the wall. But there's several ways of interacting and several ways of having a voice. You might choose to use the Google comment feature that I have here, and that can be found up on your toolbar way up high, and you can comment on the slides. You might also choose to use things like stars, squiggles, and highlights, and those are also found in the tools up at the very, very top of your slides. And then another fun way is if you have an emotional connection to something that you saw, you might love it. You might have some questions about it. It might make you laugh out loud, or it might make you feel a little sad. If you make an emotional connection, these are just little images that you can copy and paste and move right to the exact area of somebody else's slide that gave you that feeling. And finally, our chat has been relatively quiet today, but typically I have students use the chat box to make overall connections to things, and this is more of an informal area. You're welcome to use emojis there as well. So let's take a moment, look at all of the teal slides above, slide 21 through 28. Go through the virtual gallery walk and actually comment right there on the slide. Somebody asked, how do you enlarge the box? Control minus will make your screen a little bit larger. All right, so go ahead and use these emojis, add stars, highlight things on the slides, and interact with them. I'm going to turn off my mic and have it silent for just a moment. If you are watching the recording, what I'm doing right now is giving them a silent space so that they can think about which ones they want to interact with. They have time to read. And I'm watching all the interactions appear live. Alrighty, so that is an interactive gallery walk. This was a three-part activity. I'd like to take a minute to talk about the pedagogical structures and why at certain times you might choose one over another. We started off at the very beginning with a compare and contrast. That is something that's done in every single content area. So when you did your rainbow slides, your microphone was on, you were comparing and contrasting, recording your work, and even using images. Images use keywords, which means that the student needs to summarize their thoughts. So instead of saying, I want to have fun in the online classroom, they might have to summarize for fun computers or fun group or fun distance learning. So the summarization skill is needed. In the steal and edit, I did want you all to be able to look at other people's images and use that to change or validate your own perspective. Finally, on the interactive gallery walk, it was a chance for you to read through those things and decide what you thought was the most important or the most emotion that you had from it. I'm curious from you all where you saw these activities on Bloom's taxonomy. I have created a little pointer here, which anyone is welcome to go ahead and move. But where today were we staying? Were we mostly in the remember, understand area, the apply, analyze, or the evaluate, create? Go ahead and turn on your microphone. Tell us where you felt you were on slide 30, or you can also type in the chat box if you prefer.
I would say analyze.
How are you analyzing today?
Well, we compared and contrast as the first step, and then I guess that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did some comparing in that analyzing section.
Hi, this is Heike. I felt like we were in Create a lot because we went to blank slides, and then as a group we were analyzing, evaluating, and then with each of the activities we ended up producing slides that had been blank.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you noticed the blank slides. You'll notice that almost all of my slides and everything I do are just blank, but that's the opportunity for students to have a voice. Helena, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit more about how you thought about the evaluation.
So when we were looking at everyone else's slides and seeing what everyone else had done, we were putting like our smiley face or highlighting about what we connected or what we thought was most important. So it was really kind of fine-tuning our thinking.
Absolutely. And so in some typical videos, if you're just watching a video of a teacher talking about a concept, such as distance learning in this case, the videos frequently stay in the remember and understand area because we are just passively watching and then taking it. It's through these collaborative, interactive experiences that you really can do these analyze, evaluate, and create. And so I hope you consider that the pedagogy of those activities as you implement those into your classroom situations. Alrighty, let's do another feedback. If you would find a space on slide 31 through 35, just double clicking a box and tell us what's one idea that you learned today that you pledged to try in your classroom. There's plenty of room on the slides as they go further down, and if someone else is in the same box as you, just double click in another box. As a reminder today, we started off with successes and celebrations, where every student had a voice. We moved into continuum for our attendance that led us directly into our lesson for the day. We continued by doing a compare and contrast with an image, and then we did a steal and edit, and we finished it off with a virtual gallery walk. What you're doing right now is called a class exit ticket.
Could you please explain again how to find the emojis and put emojis on here?
I had just had images of emojis on slide 29, so you can copy them, move to the slide you want to put it on, and paste.
If you use Google Chrome, there's also a Google Chrome extension called Emoji Keyboard that allows you to put emojis in anything you want. Works a lot like the Bitmoji extension where you find it and copy and paste it. So if you're interested in that, you can add that extension.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the nice thing about the whole class exit ticket is as a teacher now, I've got responses from every single kiddo, and I got them instantly. I didn't need to wait for kids to raise their hands. They were right there. There are some tips in doing this with a variety of ages and for more classroom management, such as if I were to number each of these boxes with a student ID number, they could find their box and know exactly where to type without writing on top of each other. I might choose to have these left anonymous, or I might ask them to add their name to it. The student ID number gives me a correlation, but not necessarily with everybody else. And one question I frequently get with teachers is, this is great and all, but what if my students don't know how to use the Google? So if you join me on slide 36 or 37, these are two basically the exact same assignment, one more wordier than the other. And these editable slides are for you all to think about what are the pre-assessment online tools that you want to know if your students know. I give these in way of a scavenger hunt at the beginning of the year. So the kids tell me about themselves on a slide by showing me which of these tools they already know how to use. That way I don't need to bore them with tutorials on here's how you add a text box, because I can see evidence that they already know how to do it. So slide 36, these are the tools that I wanted my students to learn. And since this was a geometry class, I wanted them to learn how to make polygons using the polyline tool. That was number 8. So you can put anything that's specific to your content there. Slide 37 is one that I did for my Girl Scout Daisies who were kindergarten first grade students, and they are learning how to cover up things. So my finished product is on slide 38 where I covered them up with all these different pieces. And that little teddy bear, I wanted to see how their scribble skills were, like how were they good at using the mouse, for example. And so I was able to kind of pre-assess that when they colored it with their favorite colors. Finally, in the presenter's notes, that's below the slide, it says to use the voice to type feature. And that is really nice for your youngsters. I'll model how to do it here on the screen. I go up to Tools, Voice Type Speaker Notes, and then I hit play and you'll watch it record my speaking right on the slide. This is how you use speaker notes. I can be really, really, really fast with my words. I can also go really slow. And what you saw there is they came up live as I spoke on the speaker notes, which can be really nice for our students who are early in literacy or early in English literacy. You'll notice that even though I was a fast speaker or a slow speaker, it still picked that up. And while it's not perfect, it is pretty gosh darn nice. So that's a tool you could use. And if you are trying to get an image on here, like a selfie, there's a nice feature within Google under Insert Image, Camera. And I encourage you all, go ahead and take a picture of yourself, or maybe you're holding up some work using this camera feature, and it'll paste right there on the slide. So if you have students at home with whiteboards or with just paper pencil and they did a drawing, they can upload that drawing to the slides without a whole lot of extra clicks or borrowing mom or dad's cell phone. They can do it right there on the Google side. So I encourage you to check that out. That's Insert Image by Camera. And then what I'll do now is I'll take any extra questions and model anything else you'd like to see. As a reminder, on slide 39, all my templates are available for teachers there. And on slide 40 are a lot of the frequently asked questions that people ask, how do I make these slides? How do I make stacks of objects or make them transparent? Why is there anonymous avatar moving around? And how do I do breakout rooms? So all those are in the frequently asked questions. And if you have other questions, type them on slide 41 or 42, and I'll go through all of those for the remainder of the time. If you are not staying for the Q&A, thanks for coming. Hope you attend others. This is officially the 170th PD that I've done now for teachers, and all in small groups. And so, share your ideas out there. Make sure that other teachers know how to do this too. And I hope to see many others of you at other PDs and continue to share your work. All right, questions. I'm going to start on slide 41. Do you create copies of the slides to allow space for students? Yeah, and not only that, I have students make copies of slides. So if you run out of room on the virtual parking lot, I tell students just make a duplicate slide below or make a new slide below and give students the agency to make the space that they need. Where are the pointer tools you use? This one here is an arrow, and it's just a shape. I might also change it to a speech bubble where I can type in it. I can move that speech bubble around if I'm, having students talk about different areas. But I got that from the arrows. It's under shapes and arrows. I put arrows in all the time. The nice thing about them is you can also type in them and give students a little bit more notification and color them. So that's how you do arrows. And you also saw I had this little pointer. This is one that I created. It's a little transparent tool. And I'm starting to put them on all my elementary slides because it really does mimic what we had in the face-to-face. Are all of these slides in your template link? They are, but if you liked this presentation, if you're going to, let's say, use this with your faculty, what you could do is go to the PD recordings link on my website, and this is the strategies for any subject area, and there's the blank slide deck. So these are all together, just ready to go if you click that. Do you have some additional PD adapted specifically for youngsters? Yeah, totally. I do PD on preschool, kindergarten. I don't do anything below preschool, but I think that's going to meet most people's needs. And over the spring, during this kind of emergency pandemic time, I had a lot of experience working with my Girl Scout troop of 14 kindergarten and first graders. So I had time to interact with those. When working with elementary kindergartners, do you suggest putting the link of the slides in Blackboards or recommend connecting the slides on the Chrome tab? What I do for those is I put their school email address in this link and give them access to it. And then I link it out to them. Some people use Google Classroom. I don't always have access to Google Classroom in these kind of free trainings, so I don't do it there. But I make sure that my students' names are the ones showing up instead of this like anonymous chipmunk. Instead it has their names. Somebody asked, can Google Slides be interactive using Zoom? Absolutely. You can use this with Microsoft Teams, Zoom. You can use it with Switch. You can use it with Blackboard. You can use it with Google Meets, anything. Essentially, you have two platforms open. You have the voice and video, and you have the interactive slides. So as you saw today, I pretty much just used Blackboard Collaborate for the microphone and for the chat box, but everything else was done in Google Slides. Darrow, I saw your hand up. Did you have another question?
Yeah, I just, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Yeah, I just, you had put down you had mentioned a cool feature of inserting a photograph and everything, and so I just wrote the question: how do you counteract students? Sometimes, I've heard that sometimes students are afraid to show their pictures or video because they think other students will screen capture and use it in not good ways. I just wanted to know if you had any experience with that.
Absolutely. So you'll notice today that I've never shared my video, and in 10 years of doing online teaching, I've only used it maybe a handful of times. I don't particularly like being on camera, but also I don't really think that it enhances the lesson too much. So I will have students, if they want to have something personal, they can have an avatar, a symbol, anything that they want that they really like. They can be a potato for all I care, but then they know that that's them. And so it gives them a voice because they have their space. But in terms of using the camera, I'm a math teacher, so I still want to see student work sometimes, and it's easier to do on paper for many kiddos. So I say, fine, do it on paper, and then just use the camera to take a picture of it. Like, hold it up to the camera, take a picture, and upload it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you ever use the emoji classroom?
I haven't yet. I have not found the time to get using it at all.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yep, sure thing. All right, folks. Oh, I see some other questions coming down here, so I'll make sure I address them. The anonymous part is the way in which you share. I've got a little video that can address this, and I'll put that link here. Do you have two windows open when you're presenting? Sometimes. So typically what I do is I stagger my windows. I think I have that on here. Here it is. This is the video. The only technology that I have is a laptop and a headset. I highly recommend the headset. It filters out the background noise so you don't hear my kids playing Legos right behind me and all the like clanging of the Legos. But what this link shows you is how to stagger your windows so that you can see the chat box and the microphone in your teleconferencing tool, but you can also see the Google Slides, and you can have it all on one screen because we don't need to invest in multiple monitors. It can be nice, but usually I just have the one laptop. Sure, for the speaker notes, you do need to be in the browser, the Chrome browser, to do this. So if you're in Firefox or something else, it won't have this on here. But you'll go to Tools, and then it's Voice Type Speaker Notes. And I click the little microphone. Hello, how are you doing today? And then I click it off. Great.
So just to be clear, when you do that, only the student will see those notes. It's not being shared with everybody else. Is that correct?
No, it is being shared. I believe you all can see here in the speaker notes where I wrote, hello, how are you doing today? Is that right?
I'm looking at the presentation. I guess I have to look at the slide.
Yes, we can all see it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought so. You can
Okay.
all see it, but this gives students a chance to like double check to make sure that Google said it right, or they can copy and paste it and move it up to the slides. But it's one nice little advantage having it being able to type it out for you, especially for our young, first graders and English language learners. All right, folks. The last thing I'll mention, I see another question, so I'll get to that. But the last thing I'll mention is we are in this together, but we're really only truly in it together if we are committed to be together. So please, if you create a slide, you modify something, you implement it, whether it went well or not, share it out with other educators. Let's not all recreate the wheel. Let's use each other's resources. And the more we share, the less work we all have to do.
true. It's true.
Somebody asked, do I use multiple tabs with kindergarteners? Absolutely, I do. It is a little bit of a tough learning curve at the very, very beginning, but this is a skill they're going to use in every grade level. And once they get how to do that, now they can move into third-party apps. Like, let's go play this game over here on, Math Solutions, and then come back. And teaching them how to do that is probably the most quintessential 21st century skill you're ever going to teach a kid, because if you go to any person's laptop or phone, you will find so many tabs open or so many programs open that kids need to learn how to do that. So absolutely, I teach them that. All right, folks, well, happy online learning.